My name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is a channel where I typically like to make videos about books as well as homeschooling. A couple weeks ago, I hit 500 subscribers on this channel and I'm super jazzed, super thankful. And I posted a video, a giveaway video, and I asked for questions from you guys to do a fun Q&A video. And you guys did awesome. I was so blown away by all the fun questions. I think I got about 50 questions that we're gonna go through today, which is so fun. First thing I want to do is kind of give you the results of my poll. You know how I had that informal poll where I was like, tell me if you like books, homeschool, or both. And so what ended up happening, I tallied it up. Books got 19 votes, homeschool 16 votes, and both 13 votes. So it is really a pretty even split, which is pretty amazing. Let me stop yammering and just jump into the questions. So the first one is, well, the first couple were, what city do you live in? What state do you live in? So Denver, Colorado. And then how long have you had your YouTube channel was another question. And it's since January. So we're coming on about 6 months in July. So that's pretty fun. Next question is, do your children know you have a YouTube channel? Sort of. They know I make videos because oftentimes I have to tell them to be quiet or go back in the room because they can't quite come out, because right there in that door is my daughter today. She's doing her quiet time in there, and she tends to come out sometimes. So the next couple questions are about pets. So I asked if I have any pets or do I want any. No, we don't have any pets, and no, I don't really want any, at least at this point. We just don't have the time. Too many kids. She also asked my biggest hobby or pastime outside of reading. Hobby, probably YouTube and trying to get better at making videos, or homeschool curriculum research. Which all you homeschool mamas out there, know that's kind of a hobby. Next question is, when and how do you read? So when do I read? If it's during the day, I'll read kind of standing up at our counter over there while the kids are kind of playing in this main area, or I'll listen to an audiobook during the day as well a lot. At night, after the kids are in bed, I will read on the couch or I'll read upstairs in our room before I go to bed. So the next question is, how do you decide what to read next? So I do like TBR lists. I like to compile the list. I like to try and follow it, and it works totally fine unless I'm feeling stressed, and then I tend to comfort read. So the next question was a good one. I like this. It says, what book would you pick if you want to give away like the one you're doing? And I had to think about that because there's so many good books. I came up with fun book. I would pick up the next Nikki French book. I think it's called Tuesday is Gone. For some reason on Amazon it's almost like $19, which I'm trying to find it used somewhere else. I would probably pick up that. Or if I was thinking homeschooling, I really want to pick up the book Know and Tell, The Art of Narration. It's by Karen Glass. Because I'm just starting to pick up narration in our homeschool, my kids are just about old enough, so I would like a little bit more information about it. So those two books are kind of on my radar. The next question is, which of your videos do you most enjoy filming? So I really like filming try a chapter videos. I do that because it's just fun. There's this unpredictability about them, like you just don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna choose, you don't know what I'm gonna choose, and it just has kind of an element of fun and surprise that I just really enjoy making those. So I have one coming up. I'm planning a try a chapter video for vacation, like what book should I read on the airplane, sort of idea. So stay tuned for that. The next question I got was, what do you do during the day after you're done homeschooling? And so I'd say it depends on the day, because my kind of home management chores are kind of based on the day. I've got some fairly good systems in place now that I have such small kids, or else I will play with the kids, go in the backyard, we'll play, we'll do whatever, or potentially edit videos. It really depends. I try not to edit too much around the kids or be on my phone too much around the kids, so it just kind of depends. So the next question, I got a couple of these. It was basically, what made you decide to homeschool, or why did you decide to homeschool? So for me, I got to the time of my oldest going to kind of a preschool. So it was like a preschool 4 year for him. And that was when the twins were newborns. And for me, it honestly was, I did not want to have to do preschool pickup and drop off with newborn babies. And it was kind of an all-consuming season of life. And so I just was like, you know what? I can do that at home. I can figure that out. I'll just look on YouTube and watch some videos. And I did. And then as the ball got rolling, I was like, this is really cool and really fun, and I just got really sucked into it and I enjoyed it. And then I learned a lot about early education, and I learned about just the idea of taking it a little bit slower with our kids. And I had also just come from being a college professor, and so I was like, man, if I could organize, figure out how to teach college freshmen, I could surely figure out how to do preschool and kindergarten and things like that. So that was what got me started. And then what's kept me going is I just love it. I have just really, really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the connection I've had with my kids, and I've enjoyed the process of educating them, I guess. And so it's been great. Another one is, what was your favorite book as a child? So for me, I loved like Nancy Drew. I loved R.L. Stine. So like kind of mystery. I guess those were horror, the R.L. Stine there, like for kids. Because I don't read horror now, but I really enjoyed it then. So I got a couple of these questions as well. Do you plan to homeschool until your kids graduate or take it year by year? So really, we've decided, my husband and I, to just really assess year by year, but with the long-term goal of going as long as is good for them, really, or is good for me, good for our family. All of these things is kind of a complex decision, but I'm really enjoying it and I'm loving it, so I can't see stopping for any reason. Okay, next question. So Kayla over at Love Learning Every Day, which I'll link her below because she's a fantastic channel to follow. She's a homeschool mom as well, and she says, you have mentioned before your son is in a homeschool enrichment 1 day a week. How did you find it? What subjects does he learn there? I found it through a friend, and what he learns there: Lego school, cooking, PE, martial arts, drama, debate, tech, Legos, I think I said Legos already, sewing. Some of the subjects that's just harder to teach at home, or it's just messy, or it's just fun to have a classroom with other kiddos. So it's a great program. I really, really like it. And they really like it. So that's a win. Okay, next question is, what is one book you hope your kids love as much as you do when they get older? This is an easy one. Harry Potter. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I just love the whole world of Harry Potter. It's so magical and so fun and so much friendship and good overcoming evil stuff, and I just love it. I like this next question by Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, which also have a booktube channel. I'll link below. They said, if you had to homeschool one character in a book you've read, who would you pick? So my first thought was Hermione Granger, because I mean, she's so driven and she's such a good student. But then I was like, well, she is a bit of a perfectionist, and perfectionists are a little hard to homeschool because they don't want to make any mistakes. So the second character I landed on was from All the Light We Cannot See, the boy named Werner. He just has this book full of all these like invention ideas, and he's just kind of science-minded and techie-minded, and he just seems to have an imagination that's so big. Next question is, what's your homeschool style? Well, it's kind of eclectic. It's eclectic because it needs to be because of my twins. I just can't do anything full on. I really do like that Charlotte Mason approach. I also like classical. Both of those I draw a lot of stuff from. So, but it ends up being kind of eclectic in the end. All right, next question is, what book character would you like to be friends with in real life? And so I thought about that, and I was thinking The Count off of A Gentleman in Moscow. I'm currently reading that. I'm like halfway through, and it's really good. And I just think his character is so interesting. I feel like he would be a character or person you could just sit and just chat with about like so many different things, and it would be always an interesting conversation. The next question I had was about kindergarten. So it's like, what do you prioritize in kindergarten? What do you teach a 5-year-old? So for me, there's kind of the 3 main ones. So it's phonics, math, and handwriting. Those are just your skill subjects you have to do, and then everything after that is just really bonus. But some of the things I prioritize after that are things like read alouds. So getting some good fairy tales read, some good chapter books read to them, as well as logic. I love to incorporate logic in our homeschool. I think it's just good to start from the very beginning to get their minds going on thinking critically. The next one is books. Who was an author that influenced your career from high school onward? So Jane Goodall, I actually read this book. I pulled off my shelves from a long time ago. It's Harvest for Hope, A Guide to Mindful Eating. But I just really enjoyed her talking about kind of her life and around kind of what she eats, but just, I don't know, she's an inspirational figure to me. But really, anything by Richard Preston or Michael Crichton, those kinds of science, techie, virus, microbe sort of world was also very fascinating to me, and probably pushed me into an interest in infectious disease and things like that. And then Emily asked probably the hardest question, the one that I spent the most time thinking about, which was, what are your top 3 books? that is such a hard question, Emily. Like, just like, to be able to narrow it down. So I did a little bit. The Harry Potter series, I'm going to count that as one. The whole series, I would say, is a big favorite because I end up reading it over and over and over again. It's just kind of a comfort read for me, like I was saying. And then another one I find myself reading again and again to kind of go back into that world is The Lord of the Rings. I just love Middle Earth and the world there. And then the last one I would say that is a favorite has been a recent read, so that's The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I just feel like this book gave me so many emotions and I cried so much, and I just really engaged with this story and just felt the character, felt her motherhood in this time of war and no food and German soldiers and all this stuff that was just so stressful. But it was very hard to pick 3 books. I had a couple questions about if I could do a morning routine or a day in the life. I will make a video for that. So I'm considering that a video request because that would make a little too much to go into in this Q&A video. So next question, what has been your most surprising moment or interaction on YouTube? The community on YouTube, I think it's a really welcoming community, especially the homeschool community and the book community. Both are just really great for that. And then this question from Danny over at Spinelli Speaks, which I'll link her below. She's a booktube channel. She's great. She's really funny. If each of your children were books, which books would they be? So I was like, I don't know. I could think of a few book characters, but I came up with a couple answers. So the twins. So there's this book called 2 Times the Fun by Beverly Cleary. That's just about these 3 or 4-year-old twins that just get into all sorts of antics. And that's exactly what my twins are like right now. So they are like that book. And then for my daughter, I picked James and the Giant Peach because she is just joyful and a little bit nonsensical. And all Roald Dahl books are kind of nonsensical, but made me think of her. And then for my son, who's a little bit more like black and white and like he likes to follow the rules, but he's a real good deep thinker, I thought of like the Hardy Boys and like mystery novels and things like that. Another question was, with your 2 older kids being close in age, do you ever combine core subjects? I combine history and science, but I don't combine the skill stuff. So yes, I combine, and my plan is to keep them combined since they're 6 and 5, and then keep the twins. So kind of move them together as almost 2 different groups. So that's my plan. And then Amanda over at the Curly Reader, I'll link her below, she asked, how has your reading changed since joining the book community? And so I would say I read more consistently, which I really like. I've tried new genres, which I also really like. But I also need to watch myself and make sure I'm still reading for pleasure and not because I set some list or I set some goal or I need to talk about X amount of books at the end of the month. So those things I feel like has changed. She has another question, which was, what is one of your favorite non-bookish or homeschool YouTube channels to watch? I have a couple. So I love watching Kendra Atkins. She's a twin mom. She's a healthy eater. She's fantastic. She's really funny. I enjoy her channel. I enjoy Tanya over at Project Happy Home, as well as Abby over at Rooted in Rest. Those last 2 are homeschool channels. The next question is, how much time do you aim for sit-down schoolwork? That's a hard question because it happens kind of in fits and spurts throughout the day because of the twins mostly. And so I would say probably about 2 to 3 hours of sit-down work. I don't know though. I'll work that out more in kind of a scheduled video. The next question is, what's the most challenging part of your homeschool day? I'd say, hands down, interruptions from the twins. And it's not really interruptions because they're my kids too. And so what I try to do, or my goal hopefully to do this better this year, is to kind of try and fill their love tank, like to just play with them, to be really intentional with them before I start school, before I start to need them to be a little distracted. Like I'm trying to put together distraction bins and toys and things like that, which I can put together a video on that if anybody's interested. But the twins is probably the hardest aspect of getting my homeschool day to go well. Next is some of the science stuff. So I said I was holding science till the end. So the first question is, with your science background, what were you looking for in a science curriculum to start your kids off? 2 things. Wonder. So just really the ability to make these topics just amazing, just like so exciting for this age, not boring and textbooky. So wonder and experiments. I think experiments are key to a love of science. To see it done, not just hear about it, not just see a picture, but to see it done. So like scientific demonstrations, which is what drew me to elemental science, is the program starts each week with a scientific experiment so that they can kind of see the concept of it before going into the bookwork. Another question was, what has been any books, curriculums that you have liked for science? So like I said, elemental science. So I like the biology for the grammar stage, logic stage, those ones, but they also have sassafras science, which looked really good. Nancy Larson I've been looking into lately. Novaire, I think it's called, science. It's more for middle school, high school. I really like because it has an old earth perspective, which I think is it's very unique in homeschool curriculum, science curriculum. So I really like that. I was going to order one so I could look through it a bit and kind of see if it's for us. So the next question is, how do you approach teaching or fostering a love of science with your children? I'd say talking about it. It's just something we talk about a lot. It's something we're like out in nature, or there's a documentary, or there's a book, or something we can kind of talk about the universe, or grass, or cows. It doesn't really matter. We just talk a lot, and then it's like there's an excitement in me, and then my son gets really excited about it, and I feel like he feeds off of my excitement. So that's one way of really fostering a love of science, is just you yourself being very excited. Last one is, have you reviewed Building Foundations for Scientific Understanding? I have looked at it. I have flipped through it. It looks really good, and I get why everybody likes it. It is just too teacher intensive for this season of life right now. And so the last couple questions are similar. It says, they'd love to know if I'm planning to go back to science. And I'm not sure. I mean, for me, I got my PhD with the goal of teaching science. So I really love academics. I love college campuses. So potentially going back. And then the next one was, do you miss science or struggle with your choice to stay at home with your kids? And yes, at first I did. And I think it came more down to like an identity issue where I was like proud of like being a professor and things like that. But I've worked through a lot of that, and I've found a lot of joy in just this season of life, of being home, of being able to witness these little people and their personalities and be a part of growing their character that I just wouldn't trade for anything. So what I'm going to do next is do a random number generator. I put numbers by every question. I'm excited to see who wins, and I'm excited to see what book they pick. So stay tuned for that. So we'll go to that right now. Okay, so here I am on the number generator. I'm going to put in 1 to 50. Like I said, there was 50 participants, and so I'm going to hit generate 26. 26 is Robin Chase. Okay, so congrats to Robin Chase. I will put that down below. Robin is our winner, and I will communicate with you, Robin, and you'll see what book you want. So that is so fun. I can't wait to see. And that is all I have for this video. I hope you have enjoyed learning a little bit more about me. Thank you guys so much for fun questions. I've really enjoyed it. Please like the video. I think you're mostly subscribed to the channel already, but subscribe if you're not. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, have a wonderful day. All right, take care.